Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I'm really pleased to see all of you here with us on the first session of effective communication skills. Today we will talk about effective communication skills. What do we mean by communication skills and how these communication skills will help us in our life so that we can become a better professional and it could ease our life. So I'm Sadia Imran from the Language House, welcoming you all. I can see participants joining. Dr. Javed joining, Rashid Kamar Rashid is joining. Okay, we have other panelists, Atif as well here.
I'm here, yeah.
Atif is here. Assalamu alaikum, Atif. How are you?
I'm fine. आप बताएं कैसी खैरियत से?
Okay, I'm really happy that most of you have joined in and now we are going to start our session. This is the session about communication skills, effective communication skills. Today we will learn what is communication skill and how the communication skills will benefit us in our lives and how we are going to improve our communication skills. So first of all, I would like to tell you that I welcome you on board at the platform of the Language House, and the panelists of today, I am Sadia Imran, and we have Ansar Raja and Atif Siddiqui. They will introduce themselves too when we will continue our discussion. But I would like to share here with you is that this is the first session of effective communication skills. And every Monday, the same time, we will be having the discussions about communication skill, and we will be having on board different professionals from different backgrounds. They will be expressing their views. आज हमारा communication का पहला session है और इंशाल्लाह every week Monday को जब हम effective communication का ये session जो है वो each Monday 8 o'clock इसको continue रखेंगे because we believe that communication is a very broad topic and we have to cover all the dimensions. I can see other people are joining too, so I'm going to admit that. Yes. Okay. So first of all, we will share what is communication. So first of all, I would like to share with you the definition of communication skills. What does it mean and how we are going to improve the communication skills in our life? Basically, communication is a skill and it can be acquired, like riding a bicycle or typing, but you have to be deliberately trying to acquire that skill. This skill cannot be acquired without your own effort. And communication is not a simple thing. It is not just talking. Communication does not mean talking. Communication is a two-way and it's a skill which has to be acquired. Now I request Ansar Raja to put a light and then Atif. He will speak about his own experiences. Ansar Raja, now it's your turn.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hope everybody can see me and hear me loud and clear. My name is Ansar Raja. I was born in Pakistan, but then when I was 16 to 17, I moved to England. I done my degree from King's College London. It's relating engineering and business management. And then basically in my last 8 to 10 years, I'm purely working in sales, marketing, and consulting roles. So my focus, my expertise is towards sales. But communication obviously is the key, it's a very main ingredient in our life. You know how I want to start with, because I want to start because to me, I've learned, the biggest blessing and the most knowledge that I have gained recently is referring back to the Quran. So basically, how I'm going to start this with is a verse of the Quran from Surah Taha, the verses 25 to 28. Please do read the translation when you go home as well. So obviously, you'll be able to understand more. But purely, that why I want to mention that verse, because it's purely regarding communication. So Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, basically verse number 25 is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Translation is, my Lord, expand my chest for me. So basically, to anything, any task you want to start with, first it's good to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessing. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. It is relating communication, because Hazrat Musa is asking Allah, open my chest, ease my task for me, unite the knot in my tongue, because Hazrat Musa was a stutterer, he was a stammerer, Urdu language जिसे हम कहते हैं कि वो अटकते थे या वो maybe थकते थे, if my vocabulary is right. And in the end, the last verse he says, so they can understand my speech proper. So what I've realized, if you practice this dua, if you bring this dua in your life before starting anything, it's going to bring you loads of mashallah blessing. So this dua is very important. And then later on, obviously, then I'm gonna define how Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, got the result of it. So it's a very beautiful dua. This is how I want to start with. Look at this dua of the Quran and read the translation, and you understand. Because Hazrat Musa had such a big task, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was sending him to face Pharaoh, the biggest tyrant of that time. Even then, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam asked Allah, please open my chest for me and make my speak, my tongue very fluent so that other people can understand me. So that's the main ingredient. You should have this fluency, you should have this vocabulary, this power, so other people can understand you. And then obviously then inshallah later a few other sessions I will add more to this. So I want to say keep it till there for now, and I will add more things to it.
I request Atif to please add your communication to the audience.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Atif Siddiqui, and I'm working in a financial institution as a assistant vice president in human resources department. And today we are discussing about the communication. You know one thing, every relation, our bodies consists of a blood. Same like this, communication is very much important in our life. As far as communication play a very vital role in our life. A simple definition of communication: sharing ideas from one another, sharing thoughts from one another. It's nothing but you make it so much hard that communication, coding, decoding, it's nothing like that. Make it very much simple. In your education field, in your corporate life, in your professional life, you have to be very good and keen communication skills that you have. And if you don't have a keen communication skills, your all expertise, your all abilities are usually drain. At the end, you have nothing but a simple surprises with you. You never know that what's going on to me. You never know that what a particular thing is going to be on to me. But except if you have communication skills, if you have ability to understand the thing, if you have ability to share your ideas, eventually you go for far, and eventually you have a big and huge surprises for you. So better your communication and make yourself very much comfortable. So we're gonna go to next slide, and I would like to request Sadia to share the next slide. So can we share our thoughts on the next slide too?
Okay, thank you so much, Atif, and I'm adding your own perspective, your point of view. I'm really obliged. Thank you for joining. And all the participants who have joined in, mashallah, I've seen many people who are with us today. Them. Mashallah, they're here. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so we were discussing about communication, that what is communication? It's a skill and it's a whole process. So if we look at the whole process of communication, that is a two-way process in which a sender, and sender sends a message, and the message has to be encoded, and then that message has to go through the barrier, the channel. More people would like in. I have to admit them. Okay, so when a sender sends the message has to be encoded. When the message is encoded, then the message has to be transferred. When it crosses, this channel is called barrier. Be a whole session on barriers. It's an important topic, how we are going to cover barriers, overcome these barriers. But today we are going to a simple journal discussion about communication. So the message has to be sent, it has to be encoded, and then it will go through the barrier. It has to go through, and then it will be and reach to the recipient. Recipient is a receiver. Okay, for example, as I am a teacher, I am an educationist. In a classroom, when I send a message to my student will be a recipient. Okay, and he has my message to the recipient effectively. Even if my message reach to the recipient, the student, the whole communication process will be complete unless and until the recipient, the receiver, will give a feedback, will give me, for example, if I enter the class and if I tell them that you have to books and you have to, do this and do that. So if they do not follow my instruction properly, it has not reached the recipient. So how do I know that my message is reached to the audience, to the receiver, when through feedback? If my recipient, my receiver will give me a feedback, I see more people trying to enter. Okay, so when the recipient, receiver get the message, he will encode the message. Okay, the student will listen to the teacher and they say, open page number this and that. And if she's trying to brainstorm the topic, what they will give a feedback that they will follow the instruction properly. And when they encode the message, it has to, again, there will be a barrier between the sender and the encoded message has to transfer through the barrier, and it will be decoded, and then it will be reached to the sender. So the whole process of communication will be complete when it has to be coded, encoded, and then again coded and encoded, and then the process will be complete. Okay, Ansar Raja, now you put your own views about this.
So right, yeah, how you're explaining it, so much in detail. Obviously, you explain it very nicely. I'm just gonna summarize it. Basically, communication. It just involves three processes. You have a sender, you have a medium, and you have a receiver. So obviously, the sender is sending the information. Then you have a medium. What medium you're using? Obviously, I love these examples because let's take it from the start. It's Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, when He wanted to send His revelation to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's just an example, and obviously Allah Subhanahu wa Taala was a sender and the medium was Hazrat Jibreel Alayhi Salam. So obviously he was taking all the information, and the receiver was Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So obviously they're just simple three elements that are involved. It's basically a process. If you have an idea, let's say in your head, how you gonna put that idea in somebody's other's head. So basically, obviously, you have to use words. In this scenario, words is a medium. So if I want to tell somebody, give them instructions or do something like this, the medium here I'm using is words. Same as, you know, how we're using Zooms and telecommunication, we use different mediums. So simple, we have a sender, we have a medium, and we have a receiver. And one few things, you know, I want to add, you were mentioning about the feedback. Is good, but communication, you're so right, you know, such a vast topic. But I'm just gonna bring in two, but obviously, actually, I'll bring them example later on as we go down different types of communication. So basically, you have a sender, a medium, and a receiver. That's it. That's what good communication is.
Okay, now I would like Atif to explain it, please. His perspective.
So I thought that there are some students over there, so I would like to bring a little share over there. ए- एक नुक्ते ने एक नुक्ते ने महरम से मुजरिम बना दिया. हम दुआ लिखते गए अब वो दगा पढ़ते गए. So audience, I would like to mention over there, most of the communication are failed due to the bad process application from both sides, either sender or the receiver. Let's have something. If I'm talking with you and there is a buggy over there, you can't hear me, and maybe you perceive something wrong, that what I'm trying to tell to you, and you get it wrong, your feedback is wrong, and eventually the process, all the process are converted into bad aspects. So why did we like to inform you that a best communication have a crux, have a backbone, sender, receivers, code and code, and their feedbacks. So this is the whole scenario of the communication. But here we think, we'll listen a little thing and we make a whole drama and proceed it out. It's affect in our personal life too, and it's also affect in professional life too. So follow the basic rules of communication. Most of the time we don't know what sort of communication we are doing over there. Most of the time we didn't understand what particular thing is going to be on. We are only much reluctant to give the reply out without understanding the things, without understanding the harmony, without understanding the scenario. So better be to learn to channelize the communication process. In my first interaction with you, I already mentioned with you that if you have a good communication skills, you are going to fly and fly. Although if you have a bad abilities, if you are most competent, if you have a bad knowledge, if you have good knowledge of the thing that you are going to do, but if you don't have a good how to proceed your ideas, how to proceed your thoughts towards your fellows, towards your bosses, towards your supervisor, and towards your interns. So we won't be able to be successful in life. And the same case is there in your personal life too. मैं पर्सनल लाइफ की हमेशा बात इसलिए कह रहा होता हूँ कि मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम जो लोग यहाँ पर होते हैं, क्योंकि आई एम सीइंग दैट सम ऑफिशियल्स आल्सो देयर, सम स्टूडेंट्स आल्सो देयर. So personal and professional life communication is a very simple phenomena to learn, to understand, thing to produce. If we drop a single step in between this process, you won't be a good communicator. You are not a good receiver, and your feedback is almost to be drain it out. So just apply the simple scenario. The second slide is very much important. We can say that is a backbone of the communication. So just learn this thing, how to make your communication effective, prominent, and workable. I'm said to Mr. Sadia to share the third slide and share your thoughts. What's the third slide saying about the communication as expertise?
Thank you so much, Atif and Ansaraja. Now we come to the characteristics of effective. What are the major characteristics? So I have jotted down 7 main characteristics. I think it will help the students, and I have seen the scholar, the trainer, intellectuals board as well. So this is according to my opinion. For effective communication, your message has to be very clear. Whatever, if you are
Sorry to cut you here. I would like to participant to share their thoughts on a message so we can understand that what sort of thing you are understanding from us. Your message are very much helpful to explain our communication thought and process. I would
okay,
request to all the
Colonel
participants.
Rashid raised his hand, so I would take his, unmute him.
The session questions. we can take the question of the session, the end of the session, but I would
Yes.
like to mention the message over there. In the end
We'll
of the
take the
session, we
question
can
then.
Yes. So we will keep 10 minutes for in the end for the question answer session.
Yeah. People can put in their own input as well. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So the message has to be clear. It has to be clear. It has to be, you know, the choice of words for conveying a message has to be appropriate. For that, we have to have, you know, proper vocabulary. The tone of our voice to be clear for communication. Then the message has to be correct. If my message will be ambiguous, if I do not give complete message, if I do not give, you know, and I assume that the receiver will automatically understand the message himself or herself, no, that will not be a right approach. Our message has to be clear, it has to be correct, it has to be complete. If I give a message that is incomplete, I expect someone to go somewhere for me and bring that back. But I give him an incomplete message, it means that my message is incomplete. And I could not assume that this is a simple example that I have given. But in life, we face different problems due to miscommunication. My message has size. My message has to be reliable. Reliability is important. Reliability is associated with quality of the message. And it also depends on the ability of a person. कि जो बंदा आपके लिए मैसेज लेके आ रहा है, आप उस पर कितना ट्रस्ट करते हैं, वो कितना रिलायबल है, और उसकी बात यकीन किया जाता है. इसमें फिर बहुत से ट्रेड्स आ जाते हैं. क्योंकि देखिए, अगर मैं आई एम अ टीचर और मैं में अपना कोई भी जिम्मेदारी या कोई भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मैं असाइन करना चाहूंगी, तो मैं उस बच्चे को असाइन करूंगी जिसको मैं इसकी रिलायबिलिटी इज बेटर. इट मीन्स कि जो मैं काम उसको कहूंगी वही वो करेगा और पूरे तौर पे अंजाम देगा. सो रिलायबिलिटी इन द होल communication process is also very important. Next point is characteristics of the recipient. Characteristics of the recipient means the receiver, who we are going to give message to. For example, if I am trying to say or instruct someone, okay, if I am trying to instruct my, the choice of words will be different. If I'm trying to instruct my child or my student who is younger, then you know that is also different. The choice of the words has to be different. So we have to, for effective communication, what we have to do, we have to see the recipient, the receiver, what are his characteristics or what are